Coming up on the show, it only takes minutes for a parked car to turn deadly. We're going to explain why experts say no child should ever be left in a hot car. Also, Major League Baseball's All-Star Game will take center stage next week at Truist Park, but one neighboring community is hoping it will hit an economic home run as a result. And we're going to recap a major plot twist in the race to become Georgia's next governor. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome. I'm Chesley McNeil, and this is The Take, where we go above and beyond the headlines and we look at the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in to share their take on today's top stories, and we try to have just a little bit of fun as well. Let's begin with this. This week, we got a new look at how Cobb County Police prevented a tragedy in the Cumberland Mall parking lot. This is body cam video that we're showing you right now of moments the officers rescued two kids from a hot car. Cobb County deputies responded to multiple 911 calls about the children that were in the car. When they arrived, the temperature inside that car had reached a scorching 117 degrees. As it sat there in the parking lot for 41 minutes with the window partially cracked there. The children were evaluated on the scene but did not need to go to the hospital, thankfully. The children's father was arrested and charged with counts of cruelty to children. All right, with temperatures in the 90s, staying in the 90s, especially this time of year, it serves as a reminder not to leave kids in an unattended car parked in a parking lot, especially on days like this. This is where we need some safety tips, right? We bring in Dr. Joanna Dogoff. How you doing this morning, Doc?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You're a physician with the, a pediatrician with the Westside Medical and serves as a spokesperson for the American Academy of Pediatrics. Yeah, so glad you're joining us this morning. Let's start off with this. Just how fast can things turn dangerous for children left in a parked car with temperatures in the 90s?
Cars can heat up very, very quickly. They can go up 20 degrees in just 10 minutes. It's really unsafe to leave a child in a car alone.
These kids were in the car for 40 minutes with the windows slightly cracked. I mean, even with the windows down, I guess it still gets hot in the car. The windows were only slightly cracked. At this particular point, or at that standpoint, what actually could happen to a child's body during that amount of time?
A child can get heat stroke, which is very dangerous. First, their skin becomes dry, they get nauseous, they start vomiting. That can lead to passing out and even death.
At a point where you're walking by and you see a child in a car, what are some of the stress signs? Because I think, and don't quote me, but I think you're not allowed to break a window yourself and go in and get a child. I think it's illegal for you to do that. At what point do you, when you look in the car, can you recognize that the children are in duress?
Well, when you see a child in a car, the first thing you do, you call 911 right away.
Yeah.
But you'll see they start to get sick, they start to look confused, they start to, pass out. But you're right, there is no law in Georgia that protects you if you do try to break into that car.
Are children more vulnerable to heat stroke than adults?
I'm sorry?
Are children more vulnerable to heat stroke or heat illness than adults are?
Yeah, they're very much more susceptible. They're 3 to 5 times more likely to have heat stroke than an adult.
Right. Wow. And this is a situation where, and you mentioned that, if you were to walk by and see a child in a car, you call 911 instantly. Should that be the case even if you don't know how long they've been in the car?
Yeah, with anybody, if you see someone trapped in a car, you call 911 right away. You get that person help.
What simple habits or reminders do you recommend or to make sure that children don't become, an accident being left in the car? What should people do?
Yeah, so the first thing is when you install a child's car seat, install it behind the passenger seat, because behind the driver's seat is a blind spot. You're more likely to forget that your child's in the car. I also recommend leaving something important next to your child, like your purse, your wallet, something that requires you to go into the back seat when you reach your destination. You can also put a reminder in the front seat every time you have your child in a car. For example, a teddy bear or a diaper bag. And finally, when you're not in a car, always keep your car locked.
Yeah. What do you say to parents who have that ideology that, I'm just going to run in real quick and I'm going to come right back out? What do you say to them?
It is not safe to ever leave your child in a car, even for a short period of time, even when the car windows are cracked, even if you don't think it's that hot out that day. Cars heat up very fast. There is no safe amount of time to leave a child in a car.
You shut the car off. What should you be doing with your child? You just take them out with you, right?
Yes, take them with you, even if it's just for a short time. Always take your child out of the car, bring them with you. It's not worth it.
In this situation, it was children. I'm going to also ask you about pets. Is that the same thing? Does the same rules apply?
Absolutely. An animal also can be very unsafe in a car. Bring those pets out with you. Don't leave anyone in a car alone.
All right, Dr. Dogoff, I really appreciate you joining us. I really appreciate your insight this morning. A very, what could have been a tragic situation. Hopefully, fortunately, somebody came by and saw that. Thanks so much for everything.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we are looking at another hot day today, a day that you should be looking in the back seat. I often heard people tell you that or give the tip of taking your shoe off and putting it in the back seat so that you know to go back there and look, just in case you forget, right? You're looking at 90 degrees for the high temperature today, but with the humidity, it's going to feel like the low to mid 90s out there. 30% chance for showers by tomorrow. Sunday down to a 20% chance for the rain. So the rain threat going down, but the temperatures will be going up. 94 degrees will be the high temperature on Sunday, but we'll hold on to that 20% chance for an isolated shower or two for Monday and Tuesday of next week. Now, just like this week, we're going to start off next week on the hot side. So 95 with the humidity will make it feel like 100, maybe 103. If it gets up to 105 as far as the heat index goes, that heat index number that I'm talking about, then advisories will start to be issued. So we could see maybe some advisories by early next week. So coming off the weekend, you need to keep that in mind, that we're going to have a couple of hot days to start off the week. Our rain chance will increase as we head toward the middle of the week. By Wednesday and Thursday, you're looking at a 30% chance of the rain, and temperatures will start to go back down into the low 90s by then. Hey, don't go anywhere. You're watching The Take, and we'll be back right after this. President Trump expected to make a visit to Texas today to survey the devastation caused by the 4th of July flash flooding, which killed at least 120 people, including children. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. And Alice, lay out what we can expect from the president's agenda today.
Hi there, Chesley. Yeah, President Trump is headed to Kerrville along with the First Lady, and that is really the broken heart of the flooding disaster there in central Texas, in Hill Country there. So they're going to get a firsthand look at how this entire community has been turned upside down, torn apart. President Trump had said that he did not want to go any earlier than this because he did not want to get in the way of the search and recovery teams that are still trying to find more than 160 people that have been reported missing. Coupled with the numbers you just listed of the confirmed deaths, it's just staggering numbers. And we know that the president and first lady are going to meet with some of the family members who have been affected here, who have been devastated by this flooding. They're also set to meet with, sit down for a roundtable discussion with some first responders and local officials there.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things we've been touching on this week has been the concerns about the outdated alert system there. What are we hearing about that breakdown, and who's being held accountable for it?
Yeah, President Trump, in a phone interview with NBC News just yesterday, said that while he does not think that anyone could have seen this coming and that local officials there loved all of the victims, this was their community, of course, he said, quote, "In retrospect, after having seen this horrible event, I would imagine that you would put up alarms of some kind." And we do know that records from a 2016 Kerr County meeting show that a former commissioner called the flood warning system pretty antiquated. There had been efforts over the years to try to get an audible alarm system put in place there for various reasons, not wanting to increase taxes among them. That had not happened. And so, of course, there are now discussions about putting one in. The state is talking about stepping in to help with that. There's a special session for the state legislature there. But the folks, the local officials, the local sheriff's office, the local elected officials are all promising a very in-depth review about what happened, how this all rolled out. They're promising accountability. We should note there are also some increasing questions over how quickly local alerts went out. There's some new audio that's been released from the NBC San Antonio, or the NBC Austin station there, that got a hold of some audio from a local firefighter asking for a code red alert to go out to warn people to their cell phones. It's not entirely clear how long it took for those to actually be issued. So there was the question of the National Weather Service issuing its warnings, and then there's the question of what they call the last mile of the actual alerts going to people locally to warn them that the water was rising so quickly.
All right, quickly, Alice, this hit says the White House has been looking to make some federal cuts. President Trump in the past has said he was going to try to phase out FEMA. What is he saying about them now?
Yeah, so he was asked directly over the weekend about where things stood on whether he still wants to see FEMA phased out. And he just said that at this point, he said that's something we can talk about later, but that right now they're busy working, so we'll leave it at that. There's been some reporting about Kristi Noem, the head of Department of Homeland Security, that she's been taking over more and more of a role in FEMA. There have been some questions about red tape involving her role, and that she's wanted to have a tighter overview of the spending that FEMA is putting out because there's been this pressure for what's going to happen with the agency long term. Some questions about whether that's slowed down some of the response here. President Trump defended the overall response, and said that he thought that everyone there was doing the best job that they could.
Okay. All right, Alice, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. All right, we know a lot of you have been asking, how can I get involved? How can I help? Well, our parent company, Tegna, has created a Texas Flood Relief Fund to support communities impacted by those devastating floodwaters. Simply scan that QR code that's right there on your screen to donate. Every dollar you give goes directly to those in need. All right, Trump's big, beautiful bill could have plenty of challenges coming up. We're going to discuss that right after the break. Stay with us. Well, many are still talking about President Trump's big, beautiful bill. Helping us to break it down is Eric Siegel. He's a professor of law at Georgia State. Eric, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good to see you, my friend. And when you look at the bill as a whole, all right, do you think that we're headed into years of piecemeal litigation, or could this be one major ruling blocking to knock out some of the key parts?
Well, this bill is huge and it's complicated and has a zillion parts, as all of the American people know. It is extremely unlikely that any one lawsuit could ever torpedo this bill, and it's even more unlikely that even if there was law to do that, the Supreme Court would agree with it. So there have been a couple of lawsuits already filed, interestingly by two different political sides. Planned Parenthood was to a great extent defunded by this bill, and they have filed a lawsuit, and a judge has already enjoined that, but we'll see what happens on appeal. In addition, gun rights groups are trying to make a federal law that regulates guns unconstitutional because those guns are no longer being taxed. Neither of those lawsuits would endanger the whole bill. I don't know the success of either one. My guess is, as is usually true in the Roberts Court, this is not a partisan statement, it's just true. Gun right people win, and Planned Parenthood lose. So that's probably what's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. Have there been any other parts of the bill that you've read so far that could be kicked to the courts?
Well, there's going to be a lot of cuts to Medicaid, and that's been in the news a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't really see any successful legal challenge to that coming, because usually when we talk about legal challenges to these things, it's the president doing something and someone says Congress didn't want you to do it. But here we have the Congress and the president agreed to do all of this. Whether it's good or bad, I'll leave to your audience, but there's going to be a lot of changes in American society, especially for the poorest among us.
What about any carryover, right? Would there be some changes or challenges for the next person that becomes president with this?
Right. So there are parts of this bill, I think, that liberals like, not many, but some. There are and in most of the bill, of course, conservatives like. It depends who's president. But my guess is litigation involving this law will last throughout the next administration. Which side that administration on depends on who's elected president in 2028.
Does it matter who the legal challenges are coming from, whether it's individual, state, or advocacy groups? Does that matter? Does that play a role?
Traditionally, I think states have the best chance of winning these kinds of lawsuits. Some public interest groups do. It's just, these days, groups that side for religious freedom have a great record. Back in the 60s, civil rights groups had a great record. It just depends. And in this court, though, I think states might get a little more credibility than other winners.
Is there any history behind something like this? Have we seen this before at any point?
So, I mean, of course, in the 1930s, the New Deal programs were huge and created all kinds of lawsuits and controversy. Medicaid and Medicare in the 1960s. But this bill is as large and big as any bill I'm certainly aware of, and it's going to change America dramatically. How much of that ends up in the courts, only time will tell.
I've only really heard, obviously, the negative sides mostly about this. Is there anything positive about it that you've heard?
Given my personal politics, I just can't, to be honest, I don't see very many positive things in this bill. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, don't be sorry. Your take is your take, my friend. That's why we got you on here, you know?
But I will say again, I think the bill is not going to suffer a whole lot of successful legal challenge.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, Professor, really appreciate you being on with us, and thanks for your insight.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get that last question. I apologize.
Oh, that was a question. I was thanking you for coming on with us, and thanks for your insight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, no problem at all. All right, up next on the show, we're going to get the check on the latest road projects with GDOT. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. Welcome back. If you frequent taking I-85, heads up, a key interchange is opening up a new lane today, and it could save you some serious time off your drive. Back with us, as she does every Friday, is friend of the show, Natalie Dale with GDOT. Natalie, how you doing?
I'm great. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you. So glad it's Friday. And we're talking about the new ramp off of 85 northbound coming off of North Druid Hills Road. Talk to us about it.
Well, we love giving Friday gifts, and this Friday gift is a major milestone on this I-85 at North Druid Hills project, which has seen some really incredible things happen so far. So this is, I would say, one of our last major milestones of this project, and that is a dedicated braided ramp from 85 north. So if you're going 85 north and you're taking that exit to the North Druid Hills area, there's going to be a dedicated ramp to that frontage road, to that access road that runs alongside of the Arthur M. Blank Hospital. It is going to be a game changer for those accessing the hospital from I-85 north. But with that comes some additional changes to that interchange, and that is when you're used to getting off, and if you're a user who's trying to get to that access road, you're going to go to a very crowded interchange, that intersection. You're going to probably take a left and snake down into that access road. Now, it's going to take a second for you not to want to habitually do that, but it's because we're giving you such a better movement. So you don't have to do that anymore. Yay, huzzah. So what you'll do is take that dedicated braided ramp instead of going through the interchange. You won't be able to get to the interchange now. All of those will be right-only lanes, and they'll be marked right-only lanes. And so you just want to make sure that if you're trying to get to the hospital or to that access road, that you're making that decision beforehand to use that dedicated access braided ramp lane. So happy Friday. We're giving you something.
Yeah, you mentioned that as a game changer. That is a big game changer when it comes to emergency vehicles trying to get to the hospital quickly. Excellent work there. Now, I understand this is a part of a bigger change, a bigger project. Walk us through what's still to come with this project.
So far, what you've seen with the I-85 North Druid Hills project is that ramp that runs alongside the bridge over 85 that's given. Remember when we opened that dedicated turn? So now you slip onto that exit to I-85 south, so that no one has to wait in that line anymore. That cut down on left-hand turns, which cuts down on crashes. Mm-hmm. We replaced that bridge a few years ago over the the Peachtree Creek there. Remember when we had to shut down the whole area just to get that bridge? So we've come a long way. This was the last major milestone of this project, of the interchange redesign. So we'll spend the next couple of months striping, working on signage, signaling, timing, striping of that, prepared for about an October 2025 complete opening out of the road on this project. Now that does mean we'll be moving on to the next, but this one will be, we will have checked this box.
Got it. Checked. All right.
Check it off.
Another big interchange, I-75, top end of perimeter. That's right where Truist Park is. Lots of excitement around there because of Tuesday's All-Star Game. Is GDOT helping out with traffic control in that area?
Yeah, we are going to hold any lane closures. We've had a lot of repaving in this area, any work going on in this area. So in the 575, 75 corridor, especially at that I-285, 75 Cobb Cloverleaf, and surface streets surrounding. So if it's a state route, surface streets surrounding Truist Park. We're going to put a we're going to put a pin in any work we've got on right now throughout the weekend to make sure that people can access the festivities with a little less stress. Now, it's Atlanta. There's still traffic, and there's still going to be traffic surrounding such a awesome event that we have here in our city. So don't expect no traffic. Plan ahead. What do we say every Friday? Plan ahead. Make a plan A. Make a plan B.
They should be listening to you.
Make a C and D too. But we're going to do our part to get out of the road in this area. So there will still be construction going on other parts of the city. But for this area, go enjoy that All-Star game if you're able.
There you go. Natalie Dale, thanks so much for joining us. Every week you give us great insight. We really appreciate it.
Always good to see you.
All right, take care now. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to talk about the economic impacts of that All-Star game in that area coming up. Stay right there. All right, you're looking at Truist Park right there. Man, pretty soon, folks will be filling that place right on up. Yep, we're just days away from Major League Baseball's Midsummer Classic. The All-Star Game will take center stage. Tens of thousands of baseball fans will pack the stadium there, and Metro Atlanta, especially Cobb County, is hoping to cash in on a nice economic boost. Joining us now is Andre Worthy, the Economic Development Director of the City of Smyrna. Welcome back to the show, Andre. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
All right, first of all, talk to me about the excitement. Are you excited that it's finally here right there on the back doorstep?
Heck yeah, we're excited. This is a great event. It brings a lot of visitors to our city, a lot of exposure, a lot of extra spending to our hotels and restaurants. So we're super excited about the whole weekend.
So talk to me about how Smyrna is preparing to take advantage of the All-Star Game in the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, having to work with our partners in the community, with Cobb, on the public safety side to plan for a big event like this to make sure it's safe for all of our visitors. But secondly, working with some other partners out there to get some extra exposure. Again, you have a lot of visitors actually come here to the city, but you also get a lot of increased media exposure opportunities with an event like this. Our partners yesterday at Cobb Travel and Tourism were telling me that they've been working with a particular influencer who was highlighting things to do and to eat here around the Battery and in Smyrna, and several of our restaurants got some exposure from that. And in the first 24 hours of that little video, they've got almost 25,000 views.
Wow.
So that's really big for our local community here.
Yeah, absolutely. Any projections or early indicators on what kind of makes the success for this?
Well, I mean, at other All-Star games around the country, generate hundreds of thousands of visitors. Again, lots of exposure. It's probably, I think I heard the Braves say, an economic impact of approximately $50 million to the Atlanta area. So it's not just Cobb and Smyrna that will benefit from this. All of the hotels in the Atlanta area have been gearing up for this and very excited. And on a personal note, here in Smyrna, we're going to be welcoming the Budweiser Clydesdales this afternoon.
Oh, wow. Are they like marching through the town, or are they just staying?
Yeah. They're going to be marching through our downtown. The proximity of the stadium and all the All-Star events going on here. It's a great little downtown to get some great pictures. And so we're expecting a big crowd to come out this afternoon.
That's a good point. All right. So when you think about the All-Star Game, especially for those of us who are here, you think about the Battery area, right? You think about dining there, staying there. How much do you hope Smyrna and other small businesses will get a bump from this?
Oh, definitely. I mean, again, especially with travelers come to a community, they want to experience the community. They're not, they will eat, of course, at fast food restaurants, et cetera, but they're seeking out opportunities to check out local places. So, some of the smaller one-on-one businesses, those are the ones that will really benefit quite a bit from this event.
Yeah. What has your office been doing behind the scenes to help this all out?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to help put this together. Our Public Works team, our Parks and Rec team, and again, working a lot with Cobb County and our Cobb Travel and Tourism friends. This is a big week, and we're looking forward to it. And frankly, it's a big setup for next year when the World Cup comes to town as well. Absolutely.
We tend to focus more on the dollars, but what other long-term impacts are you hoping to get out of this week's events?
Well, the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball have a couple of legacy initiative projects around the metro area that they're implementing. And one of them is very close by here in the Smyrna area. They did a field renovation at Ryan Park Softball Complex. So that's a big legacy project, and we're very appreciative to those two entities to help us out with some improvements to the park systems.
Gotcha. Andre, are you taking in any of the festivities beside the Clydesdales?
Well, I personally am going to be attending one of the events this weekend, the celebrity softball game. So I'm looking forward to that on a personal level.
You're not playing, are you?
No, no. Much bigger celebrities than anybody working for the city of Smyrna, I can assure you.
Gotcha. Thanks so much for your insight. Thanks for joining us and sharing today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, no problem at all. All right, folks, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big-time weekend here in the city of Atlanta. You're looking at the city from afar there. We call it the city in a forest. And right now, a big-time spotlight. You got a couple events going on. Of course, we've been talking about Beyonce in town, kicked off her show last night and got 3 more shows coming. And then you have WWE in the area this weekend as well. In fact, they're right next door to each other, State Farm and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium there. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big-time weekend. Weather-wise, well, yeah, there will be some showers around. It is July in the city. And so we get the humidity, of course, we get the heat, and that comes with a couple thunderstorms that could be around as well. And so be on the lookout for those showers and thunderstorms out there. But have a good time, folks. Make sure you have a good time. You know, sometimes finding a place to park in West Midtown can be a challenge. Now, the Upper Westside Community Improvement District is stepping in to give a little help. Here with more is Adeline Colo. She's the program director for the Upper West Side CID. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hope I didn't mess up your name too much right there. All right, you guys have an exciting and very exciting project to talk about as far as finding parking spots. Tell me all about it.
Yes, absolutely. We actually have an abundance of parking, but what we realized is that it's hard to find and the rates aren't very transparent. So what we're hoping to achieve with this tool is to both be able to help people navigate to parking decks near their destinations on the west side and also make it convenient to understand what rates they can expect when they arrive.
Well, what kind of feedback are you getting from this project? I mean, you developed it or evolved in a short period of time, right?
Yes. So this came out of the understanding that there was some restaurant closures and just some negative PR that was happening around the west side. And this was a goal from all of the property owners to respond in a collaborative and coordinated way to both adjust their parking rates, look at providing better parking validations, and ultimately we felt like we were the right entity to be able to bring that tool to fruition.
Walk us through how the map actually works.
Absolutely. So when you log in, so it's upperwestsideatl.org/parking. You pop into the map, and the map has on the left a panel that shows all of the different parking options, and on the right-hand side, it actually shows you a map. So you can click on a blue P, which will essentially show you the rates for that particular parking deck. It'll show you via an icon if there's validated parking. It shows you if there's EV charging and also where the bike parking is located.
So more than just about cars, right? You said EV parking and other things that other people need when they're around your area.
Yes, we want it to be seamless for cars, but we also, as a community improvement district, we really want to focus on multimodal access through the Upper West Side. So it was important for us to also have the bike parking component.
Gotcha. All right. So besides parking, what other things are you guys doing to improve the way people get around the West Side?
Yes, we have delivered over 1.5 miles of trail this year, so that is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of mobility improvements for the district. We're also working closely with the City of Atlanta on the Howell Mill Complete Street project, which is going to synchronize all of the traffic lights on Howell Mill Road. We know Howell Mill is a big pain point in terms of traffic, but I like to see it as we're victims of our own success. You can't have a vibrant area without having some amount of congestion.
Yeah. How much does this speak to the growth of the West Side?
I didn't quite understand that.
How much does this speak to the growth of your area? How much does this speak to the growth of the West Side? Yeah.
Absolutely. We've seen explosive growth, especially in the Meredith Street Artery neighborhood. We've seen a lot of industrial properties convert to multifamily and mixed use. We have almost 800,000 new square feet of office buildings in the submarket. We have plenty of new restaurant spaces. We have a lot of new office space as well. So it is growing head over heels. And a lot of that was accelerated by the Beltline almost 10 years ago. And now that it's finally being built, we're just so excited to see more ways to move people in and out of the area and more ways to enjoy the district.
Any other new things coming that you can tell us about?
We have a Big Bad Breakfast that's coming to the district, which I know a lot of folks are excited about. Monday Night Brewing just did an expansion right on the Beltline. They are having a pizza kitchen and a really great outdoor space for families to enjoy. And Zeke's Kitchen is also coming to the West Midtown area. So there's a lot of new businesses that are coming in that we're very excited about.
Sounds good. Adeline Calo, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. A new round of tariffs impacting Canada and pharmaceuticals. We're going to discuss that coming up. All right, welcome back to the show. Once again, beautiful look at the city. Everything is happening in. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff going on this weekend. Boy, oh boy. We are full this weekend, from Beyonce to WWE to the All-Star, baseball's All-Star weekend. Things kick off tonight at Truist Park, and then we'll be going all weekend with that, in fact, into next week as far as the All-Star game goes. You know, there's a new round of tariffs coming out of the White House for our neighbors to the north. CNN's Maribel Aber joins us now from the NASDAQ market site in New York City. Good morning to you, first of all. And what has the Trump administration unloaded on Canada now?
Good morning, Chesley. Well, the U.S.-Canada trade standoff escalated Thursday with President Trump threatening to hike tariffs on Canadian imports to 35% effective August 1st. In a letter to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney that Trump posted on Truth Social, Trump complained that Ottawa had raised duties against Washington, and he also cited cross-border drug trafficking, writing to Carney that if Canada works with the U.S. to stop the flow of fentanyl, the U.S. may consider an adjustment to the 35% levy. Now, a total of 43 pounds of the drug was seized at the northern border last year, with an additional 58 pounds having been confiscated there so far this year, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. In response, Carney posted on X that Canada has made vital progress in the fight against fentanyl in North America and is committed to working with the U.S. as the new tariff deadlines approach. Thursday's letter came after the two countries agreed to resume trade talks in late June with a plan to hammer out a deal by July 21st. According to the Canadian Department of Finance, Canada is already subject to Trump's 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, 25% tariffs, Chesley, on autos, and faces another 50% levy on copper shipments starting August 1st as well.
Wow. Okay. So I understand tariffs are hitting the pharmaceutical industry as well, and now they're scrambling?
Big Pharma is scrambling to plan out how to weather a possible 200% tariff by President Trump, who wants drug makers to produce their products in the States. So such a move could drive up drug prices and hollow out corporate profit margins. The president warned earlier this week that the tariff announcement could come, quote, very soon, but he also suggested that those levies would get a grace period of about a year to a year and a half before taking effect. The industry trade group Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America called the president's tariff proposal counterproductive for the nation's health outcomes, Chesley.
Wow. Talk to us, Maribel, about this feud between President Trump and Fed Chair Powell. I hear there's a latest twist with this.
Okay, President Trump's budget chief took a public shot, Chesley, at Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell Thursday, posting on X that Powell has, quote, grossly mismanaged the Fed. Russell Vought, Trump's Office of Management and Budget Director, accuses Powell of misleading Congress about what he called a pricey and ostentatious renovation of the central bank's D.C. headquarters. Vought also posted a letter he sent to Powell, giving him 7 days to answer questions about the remodel, which Vought says is $700 million over budget. This all comes amid growing friction between Powell and the president, who has repeatedly demanded the Fed cut interest rates without success. The Federal Reserve has so far, Chesley, declined to comment on Vaught's letter.
Got it. All right. Let's end with something light here. Snack wrap wars, right? I understand that Popeye is now getting in on the battle.
Upping the ante in the battle of best chicken snack wrap. Last month, Popeyes added a new chicken wrap to its menu for $4 to compete with McDonald's, which brought back its popular chicken wrap we talked about. Well, McDonald's had pulled their chicken snack wrap from a majority of menus in 2016. It remained a fan favorite. Thousands of people wanted it to be brought back. So as of Thursday, it's back. It's permanently $2.99 to raise the chicken snack stakes. Popeyes is giving customers a free chicken wrap on any order over $5 now through Sunday. It's available at participating restaurants, the Popeyes app, the website, the delivery. You're going to have 3 flavors, Chesley: classic, spicy, or honey mustard. But you know what, Chesley? You and I enjoy our chicken. We talked about McDonald's. It's a price performer, $2.99. Popeyes making the play for a limited time. It really depends on how much or how hungry I am.
You know, I like this. I like this a lot. You know, they're trying to get our attention. You know, last time Popeyes had a chicken anything, it was a sandwich, I think. People were going crazy over that sandwich. You think they'll do the same for this wrap?
Oh, well, what we want to know is, will it be the same, and can we continue to keep price performing? Because the more chicken options, maybe the cheaper prices, and that helps all of us consumers.
I like the way you think. I like the way you think. And I'm hungry as well. Have a good weekend,
Me too.
Mary Bell. All right, take care.
You too.
Wow, makes you hungry, doesn't it? Popeyes. Let's see if it goes crazy on the social media again. All right, the race for Georgia's governor is starting to heat up. We're going to talk to Zach Merchant about who now is throwing their hat into the ring. That's coming up. Stay with us. Well, this week we saw one key player in Georgia's politics toss his hat into the ring to be the state's next governor. We got to talk about, when we talk about local politics, we want to bring in 11Alive's Zach Merchant. He knows all about it, the co-host of Georgia's Take. And Zach, we're talking about Burt Jones here. What does this mean for the race?
Well, it means just right off the bat that a long wait is now over. It's kind of the cliche almost at this point, but it's been said a lot. The worst kept secret in Georgia politics is that Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who is a Republican, was going to launch a campaign for governor. It's been whispered about and rumored for months, if not, pushing a year plus now. Now it's official. He's in this race. He launched it on Tuesday, and it means that a serious heavyweight candidate has now entered the Republican primary, and it also means that somebody who has aligned himself closely with and allied closely with President Donald Trump is now in this Republican primary.
You talked with Jones in his first TV interview after he made his campaign launch. What did he have to say?
We covered a lot of ground. Some of the things that stood out are in some ways, he's kind of tracking this two-pronged approach through his campaign launch. On the one hand, he's got a lot of real conservative issues that he's talking about and that he has legislated on in his time as lieutenant governor, and then before that in the state senate. Things like transgender sports bills, things like what he would call a crackdown on illegal immigration. He says he describes himself as a strong supporter of law and order and law enforcement. But in our conversation, he also pointed to what he said and he described as kitchen table issues, things like the economy. And one of his biggest campaign proposals so far is a proposal to completely eliminate Georgia's state income tax.
And he's running on that, and that's a big one.
It is, yeah. It's not like we can talk to every single person in the state, but just in kind of passing conversations, that's the thing that people. I just got my hair cut this morning at the barbershop. The guy who was cutting my hair, he said, "Hey, yeah, I heard about that. There's this candidate who wants to cut the state income tax." It's getting a lot of attention. Of course, Georgia law requires that legislators every year pass a balanced budget. So if you get rid of the state income tax, you're losing a lot of money coming in state revenue, right?
Yeah.
So how do you pay for it? How do you offset it? We asked Jones that in our interview. You can see his answer, as always, coming up this Sunday on the Georgia Vote.
Has anybody since then, Zach, that you've talked to, and I know you just talked to him, but has anybody else that has entered the race already kind of mentioned the state income tax?
He is he's the first that's really pushed this, who's in the race, although Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a conservative Georgia congresswoman, she has talked about this issue as well. And it's notable, she's not in this race, right? I mean, she's not, but she has not ruled out entering the governor's race either. She said earlier this year that she's not going to run for Senate, which is another big Georgia race that we're going to be talking about a lot over the campaign season to come. She has not yet ruled out a run for governor. She hasn't said she's doing it either.
Right.
But it's something to watch. And we should point out, too, just as we're talking about this Republican primary, Attorney General Chris Carr is also in this race. This week was kind of dominated by conversation about Burt Jones because he's the newest candidate. Attorney General Chris Carr, he's been in this race since last year. He's a Republican as well. We're going to start to see these two, now that the field has two real prominent candidates, start to see them jockey a little bit.
Yeah. We got our first real look at some of the finances behind some of the most prominent candidates. What stood out to you, Zach?
A lot of money, particularly on the, that's a lot of money in politics, right? We talk about this a lot, and it seems to just get more and more expensive. Burt Jones is the early fundraising leader. with a little bit, I don't want to say a caveat, but just something, a footnote to keep track of. He announced, his campaign announced, he's got about $14 million cash on hand right out the jump. 10 million of those dollars came from Burt Jones himself in a loan that he gave to his campaign. So he brought in about $4 million, give or take, from outside donors. Chris Carr, his other really prominent opponent in the Republican primary, over the course of his campaign so far, he's brought in about $3.5 million. Then you look over on the Democrat side, State Senator Jason Estevez, former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, and State Representative Derek Jackson, they're all in this race. Bottoms and Estevez both raised about $1.1 million. Jackson was about at $100 grand. Keisha Lance Bottoms, we should point out, she also loaned her campaign some money. Not $10 million like Burt Jones. She loaned about $200,000 of her own money.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else we should be watching for this week?
Yeah, a whole lot. It was a busy week in politics this week. We've got interviews with both the chairmen of the State Democratic Party and the State Republican Party, reflecting and discussing the impact of the big, beautiful bill. We also have an interview with State Senator Sally Harrell. Last week, we talked with her Republican counterpart in the state Senate, Ed Setzler, about Georgia's heartbeat bill, also known as the Life Act. It's a bill that restricts access to abortions. This week, State Senator Sally Harrell, who is a Democrat, gives the Democrats' perspectives. You can imagine it is different from the conservatives' perspective on this. We always want to reflect all the viewpoints in Georgia politics. You can see it this weekend.
Yep. All right, Zach, always learn a lot when I talk to you, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it, Chesley. We'll see you.
All right. You can watch Georgia Vote with Zach and Faith Jesse Sunday morning at 11 o'clock right here on 11Alive Plus. All right. All right, we're going to have another look at the forecast plus my final take right after the break. Some like it hot, and it shall be. 90 for the high temperature today. We have scattered thunderstorms that will be popping up this afternoon. A good 40% chance for that to take place. As we head through the weekend, there's a bit of good news if you're tired of the showers. They will be going down, the threat for it. 30% chance on Saturday, Sunday down to a 20% chance. But as that chance for rain goes down, the temperatures will be going up. We're looking at 92 for the high on Saturday, Sunday 94, even hotter as we start the work week. You're looking at 95 for the high temperature on Monday and Tuesday. When you factor in humidity, it's going to feel like the triple digits out there. There could be some heat advisories coming our way as we head into the beginning of next week. Obviously, as that rain chance starts to go up a little bit, you see Wednesday and Thursday back to a 30% chance. That temperature will start to fall back down a little bit. So 92 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday, we're looking at 91. Either way you slice it, the heat wave continues, folks. 90s, that's where we've been, and that's where we're going to stay. All right, another Superman movie will hit the theaters this weekend, and of course, it comes with politics behind it. There's always politics and everything, right? Conservatives criticizing the film as the director focused the storyline more on the Man of Steel's immigrant identity. Some naming the movie super woke. Director James Gunn responded by saying, quote, "For me, it's mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value, something that we have lost." Not sure if that'll make you want to go see the movie or not. But it got me thinking about all the actors who wore the red cape. Who's your go-to Superman? Is it the guy that played the last role, Brandon Ruth? Or is it Dean Cain, who played in the hit TV show Lewis and Clark? Well, for me, like many of you probably, it's got to be the GOAT, Christopher Reeve. Yeah, the greatest Superman who's ever done it. Or is it George Reeves, the first TV Superman? Remember that? Well, I may be dating myself just a little bit. Whatever you do this weekend, folks, whether it's going to the movies or going to the various shows that we have, MLB, have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy yourself and be super.